Welcome back to H&A Radio. My name is CJ. That was Trevor Sewell with the Train.
I love those trains.
Yeah,
they sounded great.
Yeah, so that was actually a request for Trevor. So Trevor, shout out to you. That's your song. So right now, actually, we're going to get to our first interview. And it's a very exciting guy. He's a very, very good composer. His name is Kevin Mongelli. Kevin, you're on the air with H&A Radio.
Yes, I am. Glad to be here.
Hey, how you doing today, man?
Doing great. You know, one thing about a radio interview, we can call from anywhere. I'm actually on the beach right now. But at the beach on the west coast of Florida, looking at the Gulf of Mexico.
Jealous. So
We're
jealous.
very, very jealous right now. Craziness. So, real quick, Kevin, where exactly are you from originally, so we can give our listeners a kind of a background about you?
Sure, I grew up outside Annapolis, Maryland. I kind of have a short attention span, so I've kind of moved around a fair amount in my life. I lived in St. Croix for a few years, West Virgin Islands.
Nice.
I finally ended up, I lived here 6 years in Tampa Bay, Florida. I love it here.
Oh, yeah. Actually, I have family that lives out there, actually. My stepdad's brother actually lives out there. It's really, really beautiful out there.
It is. It's a great place.
Cool. So, you got a new album, Fort Lonesome. Tell us about that.
Fort Lonesome is my third release. I released it last year. It has 10 new original compositions.
All right.
And it's done really well. You know, you set out your first album, and you just kind of put it out there. You don't know what to do, and it did pretty well. But I wanted to refine it a bit. My second album was a Christmas variation. I took traditional music and did variations of that, and that did fairly well for me. But you kind of learn from your first album. You always want to evolve.
Definitely.
So on the third album, I shortened them a little bit. My first album had the average length was about 8 minutes per piece. These were 5-minute pieces each, succinct. And I think each one really told a story. And I came together, and you know, it's won a few awards. It's had some recognition. The two biggest ones have been Darker Days and Unafraid. Have been really big. My more intense ones seem to be much more popular with the fans, which I actually really like.
Nice, definitely. We like Fort Lonesome. It's actually a pretty good release. We really like it. So, definitely.
Well, thank you.
So, Kevin, what got you into composing? What started you with the piano? Have you always wanted to play the piano, or have you always played the piano?
You know, it just kind of came as a epiphany. When I was very young, probably under 10 years old, my mom played guitar, and she taught me how to play a 6-string guitar. And I grew up in the 70s, so I was strumming to John Denver and Mamas and the Papas and all that.
Yeah.
And it was great. And it's not a great singing voice, but I like to sing anyway. I'm sorry, what? Eventually I evolved to a 12-string guitar, and, you know, it was fun. I never really knew I was playing. You just kind of learned the chords and you strum it, and I had a little bit of rhythm. Then one day, when I was a teenager, maybe 14 years old, I was sitting in front of the piano, and I was plucking out the chords from the guitar, and I was playing them on the piano, and suddenly all the chords made sense, and I just kind of understood the progression. And I yelled to my mom, you got to hear this. And she didn't quite get my excitement. I mean, she was always very supportive, but she kind of like, you know, it just made sense to me. I was like, listen to this. I was just playing block chords.
Yeah.
And she didn't, you know, and she didn't realize at that moment that was just a epiphany. I didn't realize either.
Nice.
But from that, I just kind of played with the progressions and kept writing and jotting things on pieces of paper and developing, and that's kind of what happened. I ended up performing a lot at restaurants and things, and I ended up doing the singing and things like that in bars, and also background music.
Yeah.
And all that playing, what I'm doing is taking just chords and melodies and playing it the way I want to.
There you go.
Or how I want people to do it. And all that time, I didn't realize I was actually educating myself on chord progressions and what I can do and experimenting and things like that. So always on the side, I was composing too and doing what I wanted to do.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's definitely an interesting story. I mean, you kind of started young, and then you know, with the guitar. I actually bought a guitar when I was younger and tried to learn how to play it, but I never had the patience. So we commend people like you that are willing to have the patience, especially, you know, learning all the chords and keys that you have to learn, you know, the progressions and everything like that to play piano. I mean, it's a pretty hard instrument to play. You know,
too many.
Something that not a lot of people are good at. So we commend you for that. It's really good.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much.
So I understand you won an IMCA award. For those of you who don't know, it's an Indie Music Channel Awards for Best Classical Recording at the 2013 ones in Hollywood. How's that feel?
That felt great. I was out there. It was at the House of Blues in Hollywood, and you know, I'll perfectly admit I was not expecting to win. I mean, you know, you kind of listen to the competition.
Yeah.
And then they were really good. I had 4 nominations, and I was just ecstatic to absolutely win for Best Classical Music.
We're definitely excited for you, man. It's definitely an honor. You know, it's not a lot of people can say they got an AMCA award, especially for your category. That's really, really good, man. We also we are aware that you won Best Instrumental Composition at the 2012 Song of the Year competition as well.
Yes, that was an online submission site, and I was just looking for reputable. I always research before I submit to anything to make sure they're reputable. And this is Song of the Year, and you know, in the music industry, sometimes there's a long wait to hear anything. And I honestly had kind of forgotten I submitted it. It was like a year before I even submitted it, and then I get an email and they say you won.
Nice.
So I was ecstatic, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of opportunities to. Competitions and things like that for just instrumental music or just classical music. So this was quite a find.
Definitely, it's something that it's something that you'll always be proud of, no matter how far you get in your career. Whether you become an instant success overnight, or whether you decide to give it up in the next 10 or 15 years. It's something you can always hold on to. It's something that you can be very, very proud of. So I got one more question. On ReverbNation, you're getting a lot of buzz on ReverbNation. Can you give us a little background about that?
Yeah, ReverbNation is an artist site, and it's just huge. And they sent me an email about a month ago and say we have this thing called crowd review.
Okay.
And just submit your song, and I honestly don't know what happens on their end, but if the crowd likes it, they let you know. And they said I scored like a 90% on it, so because of that, you're a featured artist. And I was like, well, that's kind of cool. I mean, I didn't quite know what it meant. I know they feature them on the front, and I do see when they're on the front page.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, guys. I mean, I get notifications on my phone. And I always, whenever I have nice comments or I hear anything from fans, I always make a point to respond. Everything, but I'll be honest, I'm backlogged right now. I will respond to everybody, but it is just, and the exposure has been incredible. I never expected such nice comments.
And we're very, very happy for you. But I know ReverbNation is not a very easy site to kind of get pretty famous on, and for you to be able to do that like that is just. It's phenomenal, and once again, and just goes to show your talent. As I spoke earlier, you can hear music, with words, but when you really, really hear the music is when you truly understand the feeling behind, every single note, every single key, every single thing, every little sound that comes out. You're responsible for it, and you actually can kind of give, anyone who listens to your songs can actually build their own experience out of listening to the song, whether they think it's a happy song or a sad song, anything like that. So how does it feel to be able to kind of give people a vision like that?
It feels great. I really try to tell a story. I mean, I've been, you always, when you create music, you're put in a genre. I am influenced by classical music, but, when I put my first album out, I honestly didn't have a genre for it. I didn't know what it was. The reviewers said, here's a classical album. So I said, okay, I guess I'm classical, And classical wasn't even a genre. It's actually a time period, so that's even a tough thing, too. But my goal has always been just to make it relatable.
Gotcha.
But with some depth, too, I don't just want, my intention is never, when sometimes when people hear instrumental, they think it's background music. My intention is always to create music to be listened to.
Definitely.
And that's what I do. And the fact that it's reached so many people, and it reaches people in different ways, it's just amazing. And I'm so glad people share that with me. And I learn a lot from that.
It's exciting, definitely. We definitely we understand how important it is to kind of get your music out there and to get it heard, especially for an artist like you. It's very, very rewarding. I know the feeling. I can't say I know the feeling personally, but I know the feeling for you. You can hear it in your voice and just tell you're completely ecstatic about what you do, and that's what we love. We love to be able to get people like you on the show and to be able to talk about music and to kind of get the feeling of what you get and tell your fans and the listeners exactly how you feel. If you had some tidbits of advice to give to our listeners and to your fans, as far as making it anywhere in the music industry, what would you say?
Just put it out there. I released my first album, and, my expectation was like, okay, it's on Amazon. Now I sit back and wait, and they all sell.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work. Yeah. And, I had to have the support of my family and friends say, it's a great album, just put it out there. You got to put it out there. And so I did. And you just got to look for opportunities and just be heard. And give it the opportunity. And if it's not first of all, it's what you want, so people don't have to like it. You just create what is in you. But you also want to find an audience. So you just keep putting it out there, and if it's not exactly you're finding the audience wants, then you can learn from that. I mean, my evolution to my third album is completely by listening to the feedback I've gotten and what is better. Make my songs a little shorter, things like that. So just put it out there and listen, and you know.
We appreciate that. All right, look, we're going to take a quick break real quick. We'll be right back with Kevin Mongelli on the H&A Radio Show on Fox Sports 1340 AM.
In a world fraught with perils, twins Seth and Garrett must heed the call of their kingdom as a black horde begins to gather at the border. In a land where wars are determined by the blessed champions of the gods, do they stand a chance of survival? Join them on their journey and download your free copy of The Choosing by Jeremy Laszlo everywhere ebooks are sold.
Hi, I'm Drew Brees, NFL quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, here with Bugs Bunny to remind you to get moving every day.
Because when you get moving an hour a day,
you fuel your body and your mind.
So what do you like to throw around the football like Drew?
Skateboard.
Play frisbee in the park.
Ride a bike.
Kick the soccer ball around.
Or dance in your room.
Just move it your way.
Because nothing makes you feel better than moving every day.
And that makes you part of a winning team.
So be a player.
You'll have more energy to do the things you like to do.
Move it your way and be a player.
Get up and play an hour a day, Doc. Check out how to be a player at letsmove.gov.
Head online to get tips on great ways to get moving every day.
That's right, at letsmove.gov. Let's hear that one more time, Doc. That's www.letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and HHS.
In a world fraught with perils, twins Seth and Garrett must heed the call of their kingdom as a black horde begins to gather at the border. In a land where wars are determined by the blessed champions of the gods, do they stand a chance of survival? Join them on their journey and download your free copy of The Choosing by Jeremy Laszlo everywhere ebooks are sold.
Welcome back to the H&A Radio Show. My name is CJ.
And again, I am Miss E, and we still have Kevin Mongelli here with us.
Hello. Hello.
All right, cool. So, Kevin, we want to play one of your songs. It's called Darker Days. Can you give us a background and kind of run us into the song?
Sure. This was kind of a personal song. Typically when I compose music, it's been in tidbits, and I kind of write a little bit and then come back to it. A couple years ago, I had a friend I was going through a very difficult time. And sometimes I wanted to help him so badly, and sometimes all you can do is listen. And that's what I was doing, and I knew that was helping in some way. But when I hung up the phone, I felt anxiety because I wanted to help. So I sat down at the piano, and I started to write Darker Days. And within 2 months, it was completed, which is very short for me. I normally don't start a song and finish it all at once. That was my one focus for 2 months. So that was very different for me. And it was very personal. And I like to always tell a story with my songs. When you listen to it, you'll hear an opening with a melody that's kind of intense, and I kind of explain the experience. And then I never structure things as expected. It's going deeper into the experience, and you hear the song get deeper and stronger. In the dead middle of the song, you'll hear a section in a major chord, and that is hope. That's the hope in this situation. And it gets a little dark again, and then in the end, it brings you home that even though there's hope, you are still where you are now, and you just have to accept it.
All right, awesome. Okay, well, here it is. Kevin Mongelli, Darker Days.
I think I'm still going to be on. Okay. Well, you can't play along in here. I just want to say I think it's still on. I'm doing okay.
Welcome back to the Asian A Radio Show. This is CJ.
And here I am, Athene.
And we are here with Kevin Mongelli. Kevin.
Yes.
All right.
All right, so.
Give him a couple of
days.
places. Oh, actually, yeah. That was actually an awesome, what do you call it?
Composition.
Composition.
Thank you.
We got to get the jargon right. All right, so Kevin, tell us, Fort Lonesome, you said, was your third studio album, correct?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So I see that tracks are available on iTunes and Rhapsody. Any other places we can go to kind of get more media from you?
Sure. My website is pianoeloquence.com.
Cool. Cool. All right. And it says that you got some CDs on CD Baby and Amazon as well?
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Pretty much all the major online retailers.
Well, you have any shows or anything coming up that you'd like to talk about?
Not at this point. I'm developing a program to get out there. I've honestly been kind of a studio performer up to now.
Cool.
That is my next step.
Cool.
Awesome.
All righty.
Well, it was great having you, talking
Definitely.
to you.
Pleasure being here. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, yeah. Well, you enjoy your trip. Pretty
We're
sure.
so jealous.
It's a little overcast, but we'll get over it.
There you go. All right. Well, once again, we want to thank you, Kevin Mongelli. It's a wonderful experience you gave us today. Pick up Fort Lonesome, CD Baby, Amazon. You can tune in Pandora, Django, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Earbits. The tracks are all available on iTunes and Rhapsody. Once again, everybody, Kevin Mongelli.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day at the beach.
Thank you. Take care. Great talking to you.
All right.
Bye.
So, Kevin Mongelli.
Awesome.
That was captivating, honestly.
Yeah. Like I said, he should make music for movies and stuff like that. It'd be awesome.
Definitely.
You know, when those scenes get really intense, or somebody's crying, or somebody just died.
I think he could capture the feeling pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, and Fort Lonesome, it's pretty good. I've heard a few tracks when I got iTunes on the computer, and I've listened to a few tracks, and trust me, Darker Days is a really good track, but there's also some other really, really, really good tracks. The whole entire album is really good. So it's very soothing. It's relaxing music. It's music that, you know, you can, like I said, you can kind of use your own imagination with the song. You know, you can kind of build your own picture for it. And ultimately, you know, as he said, he just, you know, he wants to make the music from how he feels and not just, you know, to get people to listen to it. You know, so.
Which is much
Again,
appreciated.
Kevin Mongelli, thank you very much. So anyway, what else we got going on today? It's the 5th anniversary.
5th anniversary, it's only appropriate we talk about Paula Deen.
Paula Deen? Oh,
You know
no.
Paula Deen.
Oh, yeah, okay. Is it about the racial slur thing?
Mhm,
Okay.
The queen of
All
Southern
right, hit me with it. What do you got?
comfort food. She's being dropped from, like, all her sponsors.
Oh.
When I say all, I mean all. Because everybody knows the Food Network dropped her, like, last week or something like that. And
Okay.
after her little apology or whatever, I don't even really know what she said. I don't know.
Somebody said she said the N-word, and not double ga, double gur. And double gur is bad to say.
Yeah, and then she also made a comment about she wanted black men with in suits or ties to serve the food for a meal or something like that. So it'd be just like old country times back down in the South. And I was like, why would you say something like that? Of course people are going to think you're racist if you say stuff like that.
Of course. That's just crazy.
It is.
I can't believe that Paula Deen would be like that. That's mean.
Okay, let's see where she's getting dropped from. Okay, so we all know she has Food Network, right?
Yeah.
She's supposed to be having a book that got rejected.
Oh, man.
Oh, yes. Oh, my gosh, I can't think of the rest of them. I mean, there's like... Walmart dropped her. And none of her...
That's where I've heard.
I think it's up to like 10 now. 10 things or
so
more.
All her sponsors and endorsements pretty much are going out the window.
Just went.
Hey, everybody thought she was a good old wholesome lady, you know.
I used to love watching her cook.
She's a racist. That's mean. Listen, first of all, some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi, but do not get mad at somebody because of the color of their skin. Like, it's stupid. If everybody could choose the color of their skin, everybody would be like perfect Mediterranean tan, blue eyes.
Nobody wants to be too white. Nobody wants to be too dark.
Exactly.
Everybody's gonna be this beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, some people carry racism to a different level. And trust me, we don't deal with that here. We don't think about it. Everybody is exactly the same here.
This is how it went down. The lawyer says, "Have you ever used the N-word yourself?" Paula says, "Yes, of course." The lawyer says, "Okay, in what context?" She says, "Well, it was probably when a black man burst into the bank that I was working at and put a gun to my head." The lawyer says, "Okay, and what did you say?" She says, "Well, I don't remember, but the gun was dancing all around my temple. I didn't feel real favorable towards him." Wow. Okay, well, a lot of things are like Target, Home Depot, QVC, Sears, and the list goes on. You gotta watch what you say these days.
That's insane.
Keep your personal feelings to yourself. I mean, opinions to yourself.
That's like Martha Stewart, like, talking bad about, like, native people. And
you just never believe it. You look at her sweet old face, and you're just like, Grandma. Yeah. Now it's like,
Paula Deen got Martha Stewart syndrome, I guess, apparently. Because Martha Stewart went off the deep end for a little while, too. I mean, you remember when she went to jail. Remember that?
Yes. Who can forget?
It's insane. So...
When Martha Stewart goes to jail, things are getting real.
Yeah.
Things are getting real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's crazy. So anyway, look, if anybody's got any interesting news to share with us, especially about Paula Deen, we'd love to hear about it. Call us at 804-458-9427. That's 458-WAP, W-H-A-P. You can listen to us online at sportsradio1340.net, so tune in and keep on keeping on and give us some more things to laugh about. Anyway.
Yes.
So, had an interview with Kevin Mongelli. That was cool.
It was cool.
We have another interview, and I'm going to say something again, and I'm going to try to keep people hanging on the edge of their seat.
I guess. Hopefully you're going to have to keep me hanging on my seat, too, because you haven't told me a thing either.
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. I'll tell you during the break. Okay, so...
Promise?
I promise.
Okay.
I promise. So, look, let's get into some music.
All right.
When we come back from a break, we'll talk about who we're going to interview.
All right.
All right? So...
one of my more favorite artists, Mr. Freddie Jackson.
And the name of the song is Undefeated here on H&A Radio.
Hey, you. Pick your head up. What you crying for? We ain't crying no more. That's right. Come with me. Some everyday vibes, no, I'm not gonna cry. I'm gonna always live.